Hello Internet, it's time to feel the heat because SummerSlam 2014 is going to happen soon. Here's my thoughts, predictions, and we'll soon see if I'm right the day after, because I'll do a follow-up video with the match results and my thoughts about that as well. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Whilst it's no secret that I'm not the biggest fan and follow it every day like I used to when I was a kid, I do keep in touch with the WWE product, and I always try to stick around and see some of the big four: Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam and Survivor Series. It's been a bit annoying to be a wrestling fan for the past couple of years with the way they've handled SummerSlam and Survivor Series is now like the black sheep of the family, but I'm getting away from the topic. My predictions for the matches are as follows. We got RVD, and he is, RVD was great back in the day, and I don't know why he's back. Is he back for another paycheck? He's apparently this is the kickoff match. He's against Cesaro. Why? Cesaro is a fantastic wrestler. Cesaro should go over, and it should be on the pay-per-view. Damn it, make him beat the hell out of RVD. Send RVD back to the retirement and go away, RVD. Come on, we need new talent. And me and Rich will discuss this at a later date, but come on. We've got Jack Swagger and Rusev, however you pronounce the name. I haven't really been keeping tabs on this feud. It's just a typical WWE, WWF, same history sort of match. The foreigner invades an American thing. It's just how it seems. It's going to be pointless. Who cares who wins like that? If anything, Rusev should go over, because Jack Swagger's been there now, since before 2009, I believe it is. And the only reason why I know that is because Christian beat him for the ECW title when that was still around. So put Rusev over, forget that. Now I'm glossing over a couple of these, not because I don't care and don't know about much of the product. It's just a case of they're not the matches I want to talk about. They're not the matches I really care about. We've also got The Miz and Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship belt. Really? The Miz and Ziggler? Why? Who cares who wins that? If I was going to say anything, you could give it back to Ziggler for the umpteenth time. You can keep it on The Miz. It's not going to matter, It should be on someone who's new. It should be, it should be back to being the championship belt that people use as a stepping stone to either be the top of the mid card or the stepping stone going into the heavyweight championship match. With that, I really don't care who wins. I leave your thoughts, comments, and suggestions at the bottom in the comment section. Seriously, I mean, whoever wins, it's not going to be a surprise, and whoever loses is not going to be a surprise. As stupid and as ridiculous as that comment is, it's a match that nobody cares about. So if it was a double disqualification, a double count out, whoever wins, it doesn't matter. It's one of those. So we'll move swiftly on. Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt. Now, Bray Wyatt had a lot of momentum going into WrestleMania with his feud with John Cena, which he lost, and he's not won many of his big matches. The fact he lost to Cena, to me, indicates that WWE is just trying to protect John Cena, and it's a bit silly, and I'll comment more on John Cena as we get further, but Bray needs to be pushed to the moon. He's young talent, and from what I've seen, he is a fantastic character. The redneck character is brilliant. It's going to be really interesting to see him when he's turned face and see how they handle that. It's really, really weird. It's almost like you're watching The Hills Have Eyes or Wrong Turn. One of those classic horror movies where this, even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's something like that. This guy who just seemingly doesn't belong, and I use that with the inverted commas. He doesn't belong on WWE television, sort of thing. But Y2J is, forget my thoughts on the man. He's a pretty good wrestler. You know, he's really good in the ring, and he's not, you know, annoying at times, and he doesn't mind putting guys over. So hopefully, going into this match, Wyatt's got a lot of steam. He's going to be on his own. Jericho has eliminated the other two guys by beating them on Raw, so it's just going to be one-on-one. We'll soon see. Hopefully, Y2J will lose, and Bray will then be pushed to the moon as his heel character until, hopefully, I don't know whether he can sustain a WWE Championship match and a championship run, but I think he could definitely put some prestige back into the Intercontinental Championship. You know, I think he's got that same sort of aura that the $1 Million Man, Ravishing Rick Rude had. I don't know so much about the Macho Man because he was in a league of his own, but he's definitely got it in there, like Mr. Perfect as well, albeit, you know, the freaky guy who lives in the mountains sort of look. But hopefully Bray Wyatt goes over and everybody leaves tickety-boo. Now, the first of two ladies matches, or women's matches, however you want to go for it. AJ Lee and Paige, I believe her name is. Now, again, I'm not really glossing over it, but I don't really watch the ladies stuff that much because they are normally terrible, but they've actually got a pretty good women's division. It's starting to get a bit more solid, funnily enough. And AJ Lee came back from marrying CM Punk and immediately won the championship belt back from Paige, I believe it was. And Paige is slowly but surely turned to this really sarcastic heel. And she's absolutely brilliant. I caught a bit of Raw on Tuesday and put the belt back on Paige. Put the Divas title, the Ladies Women's Championship, whatever it is. Put it back on Paige and bring up some of these NXT ladies. I mean, seriously, this is a great talent that WWE has. Don't stifle it. Put the belt back on Paige. Have her injure AJ Lee again and bring in some new talent and have her come back for the Great Revenge. It should be a great little match. Hopefully they haven't overdone it on TV. And, you know, SummerSlam. I hope they've been given a decent allocation of time so they can get all their moves in and tell a good story and have a good match. The second women's match is Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon. Now, seriously, do we really need another Stephanie McMahon match? Now, I can remember in the early 2000s when Stephanie was wrestling with Triple H and so forth, and it was like watching paint dry. It was like trying to nail the Mons to a ceiling, you know. It was at that point of the pay-per-view or Raw or SmackDown where I would decide to go up to the shops and do my shopping and come home, but sort of thing. But seeing the promos for it, seeing the vignettes and the videos and the build, it seems like they're trying to make this a bit of a legitimate fight, and more power to him. Hopefully Steph's learned a bit more from Hunter, you know, her husband, and hopefully they can tell a good story. It can be a good match, and you know, hopefully Brie Bella goes over, but my predictions for that is Steph's going to go over, and it's going to split the sisters. I don't know what the other one's called. Isn't she the one that's going about with John Cena or is married to John Cena? I don't know, but I'd like Brie to win, or Brie, however you pronounce her name. But no doubt it'll be Steph and the sisters will turn, and if Daniel Bryan gets better soon and heals soon, he'll come back and help Brie with Stephanie. It could be like a Rock and Steve Austin at Backlash 2000 where Daniel Bryan comes back. Obviously it's not going to be the last match of the pay-per-view, but Brie's in a match with Steph and she's got everything against her, the timekeeper, the referee, you know, go back and watch Rock and Triple H at Backlash 2000, and last minute out comes Daniel Bryan and just levels everybody for her and she wins the match, and it would be such a great way to do something like that. But that could be the predictions for the future, but my prediction is it's probably going to be Steph that goes over. Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. Now, I was a big fan of Randy Orton for years until he just got kind of boring. You know, it seems like he's just stuck in a rut. He's there for the money. It seems it's like what everybody does when they've been in a job for a certain amount of time. I don't have any problems with that. Roman Reigns, he's been pushed to the moon. They see him as the next big thing. Funnily enough, it's probably going to be Roman Reigns. I don't even need to discuss this match. You know, they're not really positioning him for the Mania main event just yet, but they are still pushing him and building him. So he's probably going to beat Randy Orton. There's not going to be much to say about that. You know, he'll probably take the RKO, or reverse it and hit him with the spear or the quite ridiculous Superman punch. Sorry guys, but that's what my prediction is for that one. Now we're going to come to another match with another two members of the Shield. Well, what was the Shield, I should say. Seth Rollins and is it Dean Ambrose? Now, from what I've seen, ever since the Shield has split, when Seth turned his back on him and then won Money in the Bank, Dean Ambrose is turned into a fucking maniac. It is fantastic. Much like when Macho Man Randy Savage took on Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8, Dean Ambrose is a man possessed. He's just nuts. He's just flying at, you know, Seth Rollins all the time. You know, he's unrelenting, and it's absolutely brilliant to see this lack of restrictions to characters and their moveset, and they've all got to be cookie cutter, good guy, bad guy. This is the way forward, and this is supposed to be a lumberjack match to keep both of the participants in. I think we're going to see Triple H or Vince, if Vince comes out for the pay-per-view. He'll come out and possibly tip the scales in favor of Seth. It's going to be it'll probably be a stiff match. I think it's going to be a very, very well put together fight, and I would like to say Dean Ambrose is going to go over. I would love to say that, not because I have nothing against him. I believe that Seth Rollins will go over, or Rowlins, however you pronounce it. He's going to go over because he's Money in the Bank. He's got Triple H. You know, he's the authorities guy. So it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be pretty solid. Hopefully it'll have some good time allocated to it. But this one's going to be, I think it's going to be Seth. If it isn't, it'll be Dean, just luckily, sort of thing. So I think we've covered every match except for the most obvious. The main event. Now, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. I have all the respect in the world for Brock Lesnar. I really do. Here's a man that said to Vince at WrestleMania 20 or the day before, do you know what, I've had enough of this, I'm going to go home, I want to play football, and quit. His match with Goldberg wasn't that great, but he left, couldn't do anything in football, but managed to get his contract sorted so he could wrestle in Japan, become pretty much a badass out there until things went by the wayside down there. Then went into UFC. Now, say what you want about Brock Lesnar, the guy won the UFC championship, right? Not anybody can just hold that. You know, alright, he lost to Frank Mir in the first match, but then go and watch Frank Mir Lesnar 2. It says it all right there. You know, it was just a complete mauling of Frank Mir. But ever since he came back in, I believe it was 2012, I think Cena and Lesnar has just been thrown together. It was the first match when Lesnar came back in 2012. That shows you just how poor the roster is to put up with someone like Lesnar. There's no one to put up against him. And he's just been seriously misused ever since. I mean, 3 matches with Triple H. SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and the next one. Why? Why the? I didn't want to see it once, let alone 3 times. And then Triple H just made him look like a pussycat. He made him look fucking stupid. And then the next match, it's CM Punk, which when you check into me and Rich, you'll see we're rebooking. You're gonna see what we're gonna look at with that. But that was thrown together as well. There's just these people write television programs. They've written Friends, 24, Dexter, and yet they can't write a story of 2 guys who want to beat the fuck out of each other, and it just really does my head in. And Brock Lesnar, who's he fought? Big Show, Cena, Triple H 3 times, CM Punk, and The Undertaker. He's the one who beat the one. Fine, I'm happy with that. Yeah, because there was no one else to beat the streak. But we're going to talk about this match now. This is yet another rematch. They fought each other in 2003. Does anybody remember that? Backlash? When Brock was the champion? And Cena won because he beat Undertaker and everybody else? I bet you can't. I was a fan of John Cena, but the fact is, he is so stale, so boring, and he doesn't sell anything. It is, you know, what was it, 2010, when he was DDT'd to the concrete? Anybody else would have been taken out on a stretcher. Cena was up, what, 30 seconds later? This is a fucking joke. The only good thing John Cena has is the fact that when he fought Brock Lesnar in 2012 at Extreme Rules, he took a fucking beating, and he was selling it, probably because most of it was real. You know, Brock doesn't piss about, and it looked like he was actually in a bit of pain, until the ending when he fucked it all up. Again, check rebooking. The fact is, John Cena was put in as a transitional interim champion due to Daniel Bryan's injury. Now, that's all well and good. The problem is, they haven't really done this match justice. You know, the build has been a bit, well, you know, a plan C, really, you know. I don't know how to comment on the build, because I watched Raw on Monday, and Paul Heyman with his little poem, his little rap, was brilliant. But if you go back and look at John Cena's feud with Batista, when Batista said he broke his neck, John wasn't shouting, he wasn't screaming, he was just talking. When John Cena started shouting and sounding like a complete idiot on Raw, I tuned out. I mentally tuned out of watching this match. Now, I'd been looking forward to it because I just wanted Cena to get his ass kicked again. There's just it's a lackluster build, you know. The problem is, there's not much of a roster anymore. No one is built to the position where you'll take anyone serious as a champion, except for the people that keep winning the belt. The fact is, this match is probably going to be like Extreme Rules. John Cena is probably going to come out with a chain or something, and he's going to use that at some point in the match to give him the advantage, which would be stupid, because they haven't put it on him in the weeks coming forward. The minute Brock Lesnar was announced as his challenger, John Cena should have gone back to wearing his chain with the padlock. If old school fans of John Cena and people who've seen Extreme Rules will know, that's what he used to have around his neck. The fact is, this match, I really want Brock Lesnar to win it. Not because I'm the Brock Lesnar fan, but because I don't want to see John Cena as the champion anymore. But the problem is, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Sorry. You are. It's a catch-22, because the adult fans don't want to see John Cena as the champion anymore, don't want John Cena on the program anymore, but the kids do. The adults want people like Brock Lesnar or someone else. The problem is, if no one wants John Cena to be champion and Brock Lesnar's never there, what are we going to do for our championship matches? if Brock takes it, is it going to be defended like a la UFC, where it's defended like at the Big Four or once every 2 months? That could work, because it could be in that time frame. It could be a great thing to build the IC belt back up. You know, get rid of the US belt, the United States Championship belt, unify that with the IC belt, and go from there. The problem is, if that happens, is Brock Lesnar going to get the people to buy the network? I don't know. The problem is, he's not Daniel Bryan. That's who the fans wanted as champion, and due to serious injuries, you know, Bryan's had to step down. Hopefully he can get better soon and come back, but WWE is not in the position it should be, and it should be in a hell of a lot better states than it is now. That's my thoughts on the match. I want Lesnar to win, but I can't see a way forward apart from the way to build the Intercontinental Championship back up to its high prestige back in the day. And to do that is to take the championship off of television all the time, which is what it is at the moment. If John Cena wins, does anybody care? But if Brock loses again, that's what he lost to John Cena, Triple H. You know, I think he's about average. He's about equal for wins and losses on this return, I should say. Either way, I want Lesnar to win. I hope he wins, but I can see, from a booking point, John Cena wins. Alternatively, Lesnar could be back next month to defend the championship and drop it back to Cena, you know. Which, if that does happen, oh God, I will seriously just quit watching altogether. But yeah, that's my thoughts on what SummerSlam should be, how it may go. Obviously, these are predictions, you know, not carved in stone. This is This is the 17th of August 2014. Obviously, it'll be on YouTube as well. Check back from the 18th onwards when you'll have my review of the SummerSlam pay-per-view and my thoughts of what happened there and how it's going to go. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my ramblings about WWE. Don't forget to stay tuned and keep an eye on the channel, because you're going to have We're Rebooking, myself and Dickie Hats. We'll be taking a look at some scenarios and rebooking. It can go from either who wins a Royal Rumble to how someone gets to a certain match or a turn, be it heel or face. You know, we're also going to do top 10s or top 5s. Should certain things happen, like should a pay-per-view be cancelled, should a thing be changed, and that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed a pay-per-view later tonight, guys, and well, hope you enjoyed a pay-per-view, and be sure to check back. Thanks for supporting our channel.